Thanks for staying with Morning Live. It's almost the end of 2018, and on this Christmas Eve day, we'll reflect on all matters related to education. More needs to be done, that's without a doubt. We know that, to improve access to education across the country. And then we've also had several horrific incidences relating to school infrastructure, of children drowning in school pit toilets. And this is something, unfortunately, over the last couple of years, we've been hearing a lot more of. To unpack this all is Equal Education Deputy General Secretary Tracey Malawana. Good morning and welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you so much for having us on Christmas Eve.
So can you tell us what really stood out for you in 2018?
There were lots of victories this year, mainly led by young people, our school-going learners, equalizers. And there was a number of victories that stood out for us. The High Court fixed the norms case judgment, which we won against the state, the Department of Basic Education and its provincial departments. There was also, the right to protest, the SJC 10 court case, right to protest, which we joined as amicus curiae, which is Friends of Court. And we also won that court case. Then there was also, a delivery of school buses in 12 schools in northern KZN and Ngutu. And we've seen how, learner activism can, play out in influencing government to deliver or to provide quality education. So there was a delivery of buses in KZN. We've seen an expansion of feeder zones in Gauteng from 5 kilometers to 30 kilometers, which is a huge victory, especially for learners from the working class. Meaning that they can access schools that are fully, well-resourced, which are situated a bit far away from where they live on daily basis. Then we also seen, the presidency taking up school safety as one of its top priorities. And also our hashtag Safe Schools campaign have prompted the Western Cape Department of Education to prioritize school safety in the Western Cape. We also seen, the Eastern Cape Department of Education's head willing to implement some of the recommendations that are highlighted in our implementing agency report, which we launched a month ago. But we've been doing research around it for the past 2 years. So we've been researching the role of implementing agencies in South Africa. And there was also victory in some of the schools that we visited in 2016 on which are part of the Planning to Fail report. So there was a school out of 60 schools, we visited 7 schools, and there were upgrades from new classrooms, new toilets, electricity, and piped water. Then we've been conducting research in Limpopo around water and sanitation, and we are very excited to be launching a campaign around water and sanitation in the province. So there have been a number of victories, and we're also excited to hear the finance minister announcing that there will be funds allocated to make sure that menstruation hygiene products are provided to learners in schools.
You mentioned a couple of those victories in the bettered infrastructure at some schools in the Eastern Cape, but the pit toilets are something that are a reality for not only rural schools in the Eastern Cape, which have really kind of been thrust into the spotlight, but all around South Africa. What's being done there?
So there've been a very slow progress. It's quite difficult to even speak about victories, especially in the Eastern Cape, because there's that is one of the provinces with a lot of pit latrines in schools, and we've been having incidents where learners are falling into pit latrines. Some of them they lose their life. Some of them they get severe injuries from those pit latrines. So I think I can say that there's been a progress that is being made, but it's not enough. It's very slow, and there's a lot of work that we need to do, especially if young people are their like dignity is violated, and also right to access quality education is violated.
Okay, I mean, what can be done then to change this? Because I mean, the atrocities and the horrific incidences that have happened at school are well publicized, so the people in decision-making positions know about this.
They need to speed up the process. I think we need to speed up the process. We have a law which is called Minimum Norms and Standards for School Infrastructure. It outlines what are minimum, standards for school trailers. So I think it's very important for the Department of Basic Education, along with its provincial departments, to make sure that they prioritize providing safe and dignified toilets in rural schools.
Tracey, you mentioned a couple of the court victories that you guys had. One of them was related to the right to protest for teachers, and that was directly related to essential services, so teaching not being categorized as an essential service, where teachers would be denied the right to actually strike. Why did you guys support this?
So those are two court cases. So the right to protest court case was led by the Social Justice Coalition. So we just joined as Friends of Court. And on that case, we spoke about, the significant way of young people to participate in the political process, especially our members who are between the age of 13 and less than 18, meaning that they cannot vote, but that is the only way they can participate in the political process by marching, by picketing, by writing to the president. And if they are denied that right to protest, then it means they cannot participate within the political process. Then with essential services. So we made a submission on the parliamentary committee. And the reason why we thought that it is very important for equal education to do that is because we are working in schools, and we've seen, the worst infrastructures in rural schools. And if teachers are faced with, a number of issues within their schools, it means that they need to voice out their, demands. They need to voice out their whatever that they are not satisfied with. And if they are denied that right, then what are they supposed to do? So we felt that it is very important for them to be able to also voice out what they are not satisfied with, especially since they get to, teach in, worse conditions in different schools, especially infrastructural-wise.
We've spoken a little bit about the Eastern Cape and Limpopo, about the scholar transport in Ngutu in KZN, as well as the Gauteng expanded feeder zones. Can we speak a little bit about the Free State and the Northwest? Because Free State seems to come out on tops when it comes to matric results, but Northwest is really falling by the wayside and seems to be collapsing, actually.
So we are not specifically organized in those provinces. So we are organized in 5 provinces, which is Limpopo, Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Cape, and Western Cape. But our work benefits all the provinces. So we haven't done a lot of work specifically looking at Free State, Northern Cape, Northwest, and Mpumalanga. So most of the work that we've been doing, especially in those provinces, was around the state of sanitation in all provinces around across South Africa.
And what about the Western Cape? Because education there really seems to rely on what economic bracket you actually fall into.
So there's a number of issues in the Western Cape, and it's quite difficult because it's, I can say it's different from other provinces in South Africa. So in the Western Cape, we've been doing a lot of work around, school safety. We've been doing a lot of work around infrastructure and, textbooks, late coming, and so forth. And that is where we're established in Khayelitsha. So in the past week, there was a court case that we're involved in, a court case around about the allocation of police officers in different townships, especially in the Western Cape. And we've seen that there's like a lot of issues around the allocation there. There's like many people in Khayelitsha, and we find out that there's, few policemen. Then it means that we have lots of these, a lot of safety issues and, other issues that are related to safety. So there is an issue around, allocations of fund. And you are correct to say that it also depends on your economic state. If you're from like informal settlements, then it means there's like terrible service for you.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's so much more to speak about. It's certainly a huge topic, but thank you very much for giving us a little bit of insight. That's Tracey Malawana from the Equal Education. She's the Deputy General Secretary at that organization. Thank you so much for coming on to Morning Live and chatting to us.
Thank you so much for having me. Merry Christmas to you.